SAHDPod live for Playdates. Recorded April 20th, 2016.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to SAHDPod, where stay-at-home dads talk about their happy, sad lives. If you're here, you'll have heard, oh God, this is ridiculous, how bad we are. Okay, I'm going to bring that laughter in. That laughter is Trevor Mulligan. Joining me tonight, we have Trevor Mulligan, Kevin Clem, and David Torrelio. Say hello to the folks at home.
Guys. How's it going?
Hello to the folks at home.
And there was no overspeak there, folks. I mean, they're on a 10-second delay. Tonight we have a Flo-Cal show. Yes, it's Flo-Cal because Florida comes first, even though it's supposed to be West Coast. And we're going to discuss, what is it we're going to discuss again? Oh, Playdates. Where, how, who with our kids, without our kids, what's the most fun, and where's the most fun? So, fellas, I'm going to throw this out to you, Trevor. Trevor, that's your name, right?
Yes, yes, that is my name.
Wait for it.
You sent me a couple of clips, and I'm just going to play one of them. And I'm going to bring you back after that, and you can tell me a little bit about it. Okay?
Oh,
Come on, Miles, let's get one together. No, let's come out and get set and both be ready. Let's not rush it. Just double check. Still recording? Yep. Okay. Okay. Go, Miles, all the way up. You got it.
Okay, coming back. Thanks, David. Thanks for speaking there, mate. I appreciate it. And that's awesome.
I'm glad I could help you out.
Trevor,
yes.
GoPro clips. You and your
that
son in the surf. Because this is all about the stuff that we do in the spare time. Please tell us a little bit about that. And obviously that was audio. I got the joy of seeing the video. And I do believe your son was much, much better than you. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh, my son was teaching me how to surf. So my son has been surfing for almost 3 years now. September will be 3 years. And we had a little hiatus there where we weren't surfing because it was just, I know this is Southern California and people are going to feel really bad for me, but it was so cold, even with the wetsuit on. Like, he would get out of the water and stand on the board, and he was just so cold he couldn't move. So we took a little break, and then it was hard to make sure that he stayed focused on it when we were coming back to it. So there was one day I tried surfing once in my life, and that was like, I don't know, 20 some odd years ago. And I don't even think I ever stood up on the board. Now, I've snowboarded for many, many years, but when in Rome, it's all about surfing. I've lived in California now for 12 years, and I don't know why I haven't done this sooner, but I made a deal with my son that if he did really well on his first lesson back, that since we were doing it on the weekends, I don't have to watch my youngest. I can come out there and try to surf with him, and he can start teaching me how to surf, so we can do it together. And oh man, you should have seen it in his eyes. He was like, okay. And he killed it. He just went out there and he did awesome. He was standing up, he was riding these in, and it was still a little cold, so he couldn't really move very well. But I knew I was in trouble. I was like, man, I have to go out there and surf next time. And we do it every other week. So
I noticed when
I had a little preparation. But
I noticed when I was listening to watching the video, because it was all first person perspective, you were trying to get on the wave at the same time as him. Is that right?
It was. So I had a GoPro on my head, and then he has one on the surfboard. And this was one of the last runs. He'd been telling me the whole day, you got to do this, Dad, and you got to count, and you got to, we were doing sand work, and it was hilarity. And hilarity. That's a new word. But one of the last runs, he was like, Daddy, you know, there's multiple. He's like, get this one with me. And I'm like, I'm too late. I can't get it. You take it. We'll do the next one, you know. And it was always the next one because he's better than I am. It's like all of a sudden he's at the shore. I'm like, I'm set. I'm ready. Where'd you go? But one of the very last ones, I actually stood up. I started surfing in. And what that taught me is wherever you look is where you're going to go. I immediately turned to the side and I looked over to my son. I was like, yeah, dude, we're surfing on the, and I go right into him. I just my board went right underneath his board. And he says that I walked onto his board and then he walked onto my board and then we collided and we all, it was awesome. It was hilarious.
I've seen Point Break. Is that not a stabbing offense?
Yeah, it was close, but it's also like the new handshake.
Okay, well, look, so we've established that you go surfing. That's one of the things that you do with your sons. I have another clip here, fellas, so if you just bear with me.
This is David Torrelio reporting for SAHDPod here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm also the event coordinator for the Northeast Florida Stay-at-Home Dads group. We're here at the Jacksonville Suns game. Beautiful day outside, partly cloudy skies. And it looks like the temperature be in the low 80s with a light breeze. Great day to come out and talk to some local dads about their happy, sad lives.
Okay, Dave, we listened to you at the baseball game today, I think. I didn't really hear the clip. But this was today. You organize a lot of events for Northeast Florida stay-at-home dads. And this one was, well, you tell me, what was it?
Yeah, we had a get-together today at the Jacksonville Suns afternoon game. It started at 11 a.m. I saw that game was playing, I think, on Sunday, so I put it out there. I originally was planning on going to the Cummer Museum, but when I saw that the minor league team was playing at home, I made it a point to put it up there, and I thought maybe I'd get one or two, and it ended up being a good turnout. There was about 5 dads that showed up, and we had a section together, and it was just a really nice time. Our children were able to just like run. They were really calm. They really had a good time. You know, none of them really got upset or cranky. One guy had to leave a little bit earlier. I think he went out by the 5th inning, and then I ducked out around, I think, the 7th, 8th inning, and so did a couple of the other guys. But the kids had a great time. It was just it was an awesome experience. Just being able to, you know, share that joy, share the afternoon excitement with the guys was a good time. It was beautiful weather, man. It was 80. It was maybe 80 degrees and partly cloudy. So we were sitting in the shade, but there's even a light breeze. It was the perfect day for a baseball game. And to top it off, the Suns win it. They're losing.
I was just going to tell you not to say that because you said it in the clip, didn't you?
Well, no. You know what? I told you I was going to do a little research because we walked out before the game ended. But you can play that clip still. I'll let you go on that one.
Nah,
but it was
right.
it was a really great time.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know.
Now the thing
baseball.
Is, this show. I mean, it's last minute. That's the reason why we're so woefully unprepared. But I wanted to talk about.
I think it's going well.
Good for you, Trevor.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, poor David. Oh,
it is going well.
No, it's going awesome, and even if I am out of beer.
Well, I'm going to drink one for you right now.
Okay.
See, that's a personal problem. That's not a radio problem.
I was going to crack the beer actually on mic and see if it could come through. No, look, I mean, I wanted to talk about events. The reason I actually I pitched it out to you, Dave, is because you run all of the events for the Northeast Florida stay-at-home dads. So does anybody else here have that sort of a setup where they, you know, like have an events page which they go to and connect to get in touch with other dads and maybe go on play dates with the kids?
I have a small group I do that with here in LA, just a small one. With the LA Dads group.
Could you elaborate?
Yeah, the LA Dads group. Yeah, we have just over 500 dads. We actually have
a small group.
Just a small group.
Just a couple people. I mean, just a village.
We actually have a fantastic event this Saturday with IMAX, and we're going to see the beautiful planet. And we have 100 tickets, and it's for the whole family.
Is that
and I think we only
IMAX?
have like 9 tickets
Are you
left.
still saying Are you still saying that that's a small group?
I was totally being sarcastic. I'm sorry. Should I let you know next time?
I mean, I don't read well. I don't read.
I don't read blue
language.
boxes on Skype very well.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
But look, Kevin's been rather quiet, unfortunately. Kevin, do you do anything like that? Do you connect to any of these events?
I have a huge group of stay-at-home dads that I get together with every day.
10.
That group consists of me.
Damn,
talking to third person.
I have yet to actually meet somebody at the park. Like every time there's a dad at the park or wherever I take the kids, I'm like, "Are you a stay-at-home dad?" And they're always, "Nope, just watching the kids today."
I never meet dads at the park either, though, so don't feel bad in that aspect. You have to look in different places.
There's a bunch of defunct groups around the Sacramento area, and I have yet to find one that actually is active and has real dads in it. So I hang out with a lot of stay-at-home moms.
Is it like
actually.
Ashley Madison?
Real dad.
It's like Ashley Madison.
Active users. Active users. We'll say that.
So to that point, Kevin, in our group for a while there, it was dead, and what it amounted to was I'm going out. I'm going to put up an event, and if people show up, great. If they don't, they don't. And it was just I'm getting out of the house, and that's how it seemed like more and more people started to show up at events. I mean, on average, we might top out at 3 or 4 people. So just as a give it a go, you find one of those defunct pages or the most active of the defunct pages and say, look, I'm going to go here, make an event out of it, invite everybody in the group and give it a shot.
Actually done that a few times.
It's once you get the momentum going, though. It's the toughest to get the 1 or 2 regulars. Once you can get the 1 or 2 regulars, I think others will start coming out of the woodwork, feeling more comfortable.
People in your group.
But you know what? But I do park meetups all the time, and I only have 3 or 4 dads show up.
Are we still talking about stay-at-home dads?
Well, I'm talking about all dads. So all dads.
That's right. You've got a big dad group, right?
Right.
Well, to that, I mean, even in that point, it was 3 weeks. Every time that the one event that I do was a story time at Barnes and Noble. And every time, the first time I went, nobody showed up. The second time I went, I got one guy, and he showed up the second two or 3 times after that, but it was only one guy. And then, obviously you have to almost oversell it. I mean, you have to put a picture on the page and say you guys had a great time and thanks for showing up. And you have
to lie, basically.
Basically, you have to lie and said it was. Your kids are bawling their eyes out. And you're in the corner in tears, and your kid's bleeding because you let them grab a hold of a can or something. And it's just like, yeah, we had a great time today. Thanks, Bill, the only other dad that showed up for coming out. But it's not easy. It definitely is not easy, and it's definitely can be very frustrating when you go out there. You put all that effort into it, and nothing happens.
I've been there. Do you want to multiple times.
Do you want to talk about our little hiking excursion day?
When you started crying, or when I started crying?
Well, when the gods started crying on us. we went for a little play date.
Yeah, it was something like that. We decided that we'd get together, and we've been trying to get together to go hike, and Dave's finally healthy. So last Friday, we went out to this park that's about halfway in between Dave and I. And the forecast was for rain, and we said, you know what, give it a shot, because the worst case scenario is we have our backup plan. We're going to hit up St. Augustine and do something else. We get out there, we hike to the end of this one trail. We take our kids out of the pack, and I'm feeding my daughter, and his daughter's running around. And you look off to the distance, and you see the rain. That's the great thing about Florida is you see the rain, and you know when it's coming. And in the way that the rain was traveling, it should have passed. Well, what I thought was it should have passed by. And then you could start to hear it hit the trees. And we're like, okay, we need to pack up. We need to pack up. So we feverishly are trying to throw our children back into these kid carrier packs. And it just starts pouring down. And we get into some cover, and we get our kids situated, get ourselves situated. And we start walking back, and it's just pouring down rain, and kids are going crazy.
My daughter was absolutely going berserk. Now, so Kevin, when you talk about your play dates, obviously you're a bit of a Billy No Mates. And I'm sure that this has got nothing to do with your personality. It's got everything to do with just the fact of access.
I actually do have a group of people that I get together with. They're all either grandmothers or stay-at-home moms. That's my peer group.
I mean,
Are these the ones you play D&D with?
Oh no.
Yeah, Grandma. What are you going to do with your character now? I'm going to
Sonny, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Give me that dice here. Oh no, I broke my wrist.
Is this the 20-sided dice or is this the 3-sided dice?
Let me get me specs on.
So the defunct pages. I mean, what the most active page? What do you consider the active about it? I mean, do people post? Or?
I have yet to actually find a page that's active. There's one that started out as a dad's group and then became just a general going out, whoever group, and that one's fairly active. I'll go to a park date or whatever, and there'll be one or two other people there. So
are they dads?
No, they're always moms.
They're always moms. So that was one of the things that we almost ran into with our page, is that when the page started, our founder, he wanted people, and so it was moms who were substituting for the stay-at-home dads because stay-at-home dads didn't have Facebook pages.
Hang on a second. Allegedly.
It got awkward there. And so we ended up, we started to get a decent number. It was the same amount when I showed up and to when we booted people out, because we had, 5 or 6 mothers in there that their husbands went back to work and they weren't stay-at-home dads anymore. I was like, well, this is a stay-at-home dads group, and like there's a Jack's Moms blog, which is 43,000 likes and plenty of events going on. And please, if there's the opportunity for you girls out there to go, find these groups, but for the dads groups, there's nothing. And so,
well, yeah, but
we had to.
To your point,
clean up.
Kevin, our group was as dead as a dodo. I mean, it was until there was 4 of us got together and we were motivated. And it's still with Dave does the events. I generally do the tech side, and we have a couple of other guys as well who pitch in. But if we left, I mean, let's face it, Dave, it's gone. If you weren't doing the events and I wasn't pushing the other things, we're trying so hard. And Dave is out soliciting people at parks all the time. He's been arrested 3 times for it.
And it was only awkward when. No. Yeah, I mean, you have to. The awkward part is walking up to people and saying, "Hey, you stay-at-home dad." Like the other day, we were at the zoo, and me and one of the other dads, we were hanging out this fish pond, and one of the guys that I solicited, he made a comment like his kid was trying to jump into the pond. He's like, "Please don't jump in the pond. I'll start crying." It's like, isn't that part of like, being a stay-at-home dad? It's like you just start crying at a moment's notice, and that opened up the gate for conversation. And he come to find out he's a stay-at-home dad, and we got him in the group.
Yeah, but the thing is, he opened the conversation about crying and misery and fetal positions.
Yes, that was pretty much it.
Bundler laughs at dude, mate. But now the thing is, Kevin. So okay, what do you do for? I mean, you must have some. Do you not have any dad friends that get together with kids at all?
Oh no, I have dad. I have dad friends. Dad friends, but dad friends at work. And yes, we get together with kids on weekends or in the evenings. But yeah, during the day, it's basically I get up, I take my daughter to school, and take my son to the park, meet with all the nannies and the moms at the park, and they play for a while, and yeah. So
that is so depressing.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of men.
Do you want to come out to Florida? We'll take you out, mate. Actually, Dave, if you want to explain, we had an event just a couple of weeks ago. We only had 6 people, but we found that the most popular events, lo and behold, were the dads only drinking events. Go figure.
Oh, that's amazing. That is incredible.
I mean, that's big for a group of 30 people. So, more than 10%, and it was effective. I mean, that was Dave showed up, and it was It was a
Less.
smaller number. They showed up and the number dwindled. No, but I think the next event will definitely be a good event, and hopefully you show up, Dave, and it'll be hopefully you'll see the magnitude of our presence.
Okay, we have a word from our sponsor, fellas. So just bear with me 1 second.
Man, oh man, I can't believe it's pledge drive season again. We hate interrupting SAHDPod Live, but we have bills to pay. So today we're reaching out to our listeners for a little feedback in the way of dollar bills. Nah, we don't want your money. Heck, we don't even have a place to store it if you give it to us. So what I suggest is you give us a like on the book face, stalk us on the Twitter, or head over to iTunes to subscribe. You do that for us and I promise we'll do something for you. In fact, how about this? You follow someone on social media things, we'll buy you some chitlins. Double down, and you track us through 2 of them thingies, we'll toss in a pig feed. But here's the grand prize. You follow us on all 3, and we'll give you an old-fashioned pig roast with proper moonshine and chaw enough for the family. Now, I can't promise that any of this will happen, but you come on through for your part, and golly gosh, that'd knock my socks right off. So after the show, head on over to SAHDPod.com. That's SAHDPod.com. Because you make us happen. Now back to the show.
Wow, thanks for that, Cletus. Much appreciated. Yes, guys, we want you to like our Facebook page, SAHDPod.com. Follow us on Twitter @SAHDPod. And yeah, there is multiple other ways. I think we have a Facebook page or something as well. I don't know. I don't really get involved in the technical side of things. We're actually back and we're talking about parks and play dates and poor old Kevin and how he only gets to hang out with the women.
Old women at that.
One of the things that I noticed on the weekend was, certain parks are actually, when you become a stay-at-home dad and you go to a park, you kind of start judging it by a different set of criteria. How good it is, how useful it is, how fun it is. And, this is a little bit of a clip that I took from the weekend, okay? This is David McFee once again for SAHDPod Live. I am at Palm Coast Linear Park in Palm Coast, Florida. This is a little bit of a shout out to a really excellent park for infants and also older kids. The play area has an infant swing, lots of big open area and climbing apparatus. The toilet block has a men's infant changing table, which is also good. There is a bike maintenance station for those who come on their bikes with a series of tools and air. Excellently well mapped out, very secluded, and miles of trails. If anybody's interested in taking their kids out on bikes or taking their infant to some swings, you can't go past Palm Coast Linear Parkway. Palm Coast Linear Park if you're in the Palm Coast area in Florida. Again, great park, highly recommended. And that's David McFee signing out for SAHDPod Live. Okay, that was my clip when I actually went to Linear Park out here in Palm Coast. It was an awesome park, actually. It was one of the few places that I've seen that's small enough that actually has a daddy changing room. It had a bike station with, I think they welded the screwdriver to a chain or something. Not the saying that people around here are thieves or anything, but they also had compressed air. And I think they have something like 5 to 10 miles of bike trails. You can walk on them as well, of course. It was one of the most awesome parks. Oh, and another thing. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I know you have, Trevor, because you were swinging your kids in it. You know how they have those fully cupped, like seats on the swing? The really good ones?
It's like an upside down turtle shell.
Is that what they're called?
No, I'm just trying to describe it.
You put them forwards, backwards, or sideways?
No, it's like a turtle shell.
It looks like a really big infant seat.
It looks like a 1930s football helmet.
Yes.
Okay, whatever it is.
Are we talking about the same thing? Because I feel like you're talking about the black one that has 4 holes that you can put them either forward or backwards.
Yeah, that's it.
And they're talking about there's the other kind that I've seen that like the kid carrier, the car seat where it's just a big plastic chair.
No, I haven't seen those, mate. I'm unaware of these things.
Well,
the Gators,
it's amazing.
Okay, but look, the ones I'm used to are just the ones that look like a half car tire or something that kids fall off of. These ones you can put your infant in and they can, you can spin them around and, basically they're not going to fall out no matter how sick they get. But you've just explained it. The fact is when we go to a park now, we judge it by a different set of criteria. We start thinking in terms of, like I went out on the weekend, I thought, man, this is a great get-together place for stay-at-home dads. Do any of you guys have similar experiences? I'm going to throw it to you, Trevor. Do you go to a park and start thinking in terms of, oh yeah, this is a good park, not just for me, but for my kids, and maybe for I don't know, soliciting a bunch of other stay-at-home dads if they're up for it?
You know, I try to take my kids to multiple different parks. There's a few parks that I go to on a regular basis. I actually judge mine based on how much it will entertain my kids and allow me some sitting down on the bench time at random times. So there has to be a swing for my youngest because he freaks out. He loves swings of any kind. And then it definitely has to have some running areas. I have a couple smaller parks, but I like the big ones with the big grass fields and be like, okay, run across the field and touch that tree and come back as quickly as you can, because then I can just wear out the kids. That is my primary objective of going to the park.
Actually, I think we've got some audio here. We've always got some audio.
Always got some audio.
Why is this your favorite?
Because we can swing and we can go up there and play catch the ball by throwing it down when the other people catch it on the bottom.
Cool.
And down in the yesterday's in the
Is that right? I didn't understand a word you just said. How about them apples? So you like it because your friends come here and meet you to play? Yes. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter, for interpreting those words.
Okay, Trevor, can you please tell me what the language was that your child was speaking in that?
Yeah, it's kid gibberish. It's the Eminem voice. I have no idea. Sometimes it's funny. My youngest sometimes won't pronounce the first letter of the word, so it's not really like a Pig Latin. It's like a rendition of Pig Latin, and my son can understand it perfectly, and most of the time I can as well. But there are definitely times where he's just like going, and I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, I was thinking. So does he tell you to uck off?
When
I can get away with that, right? I can get away with that.
Yes, I think so.
No, but I noticed because you were swinging that, and it looked awesome. It looked like a really awesome park. So obviously, your goal is purely to make them so tired that you get at least a 3-hour nap.
Yes, and if the kids are happy, then generally I'll be happy, and that makes me happy. So it has to be those qualifying aspects of a park.
Now, Kevin, when I posted the picture of the parks and all the rest of it, because I was quite excited, I actually thought that this was an underused resource in some of the forums. I didn't understand why some of the guys weren't like posting more about, hey, this is this park. You guys need to go here. It's got these resources. And you said, hey, I know some awesome parks as well. Do you want to tell me some of the awesome parks that you go to?
Sure. We have, so many parks. Within a 5-mile drive of my house, I have so many great playgrounds and parks, depending on how you want to divide those up. One thing that's great in the Sacramento area is we have the American River Parkway. Basically, along the entire stretch of the American River, from Folsom, which is a good 20, 30 minutes up the highway from Sacramento, all the way to downtown Sacramento, along the American River on both sides, and a good chunk of it is all parkway. Bike trails,
I remember some
open
good
fields.
walks.
It's great. So if you want to just get out and walk around, or you want to go ride scooters or ride bikes, I mean, we've got it made here. And on top of that, we have some great just playgrounds. It seems like in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, a lot of the older parks have had their playgrounds completely replaced, and they're putting in some neat stuff.
Now, what about things like one of the things I was really impressed with, and it doesn't take much to impress me nowadays, is it's not a big park. There's only about, 12 spaces, but they had a men's changing table. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that, look, I watch Daniel Tiger all day, okay? Some things excite me more than others, and one of them was having somewhere to change your crappy nappy. But that impressed me. Do you look for those kind of things? Or actually, are you out of the nappy stage now? You are, aren't you?
No, my son still naps.
No, sorry. Let's
talking about diapers.
Diapers.
Nope, still in diapers. He's not not having any of that potty training.
Hang on, let me say that again. Diapers.
He's napping all over the place.
The dingo killed my baby.
You should have seen that nappy blowout.
Oh. Oh. We had a wet one this morning, man. Oh, seriously. I never knew a child could pee so much. Oh, anyway.
I take advantage of that 12-hour rule that they post on the side of the box. Like, they say 12 hours. I'm going to push it.
You know, one of the parks we go to almost every day is in a really affluent neighborhood near our house. And one thing I find funny there is there's a bunch of I go there because there's all these toddlers that are around my son's age. So it's great. And they all play together well. But there's a big group of kids there that are potty trained, and they go pee on this one tree that is, I kid you not, about 30 feet away from the actual bathrooms.
I thought you were going to tell me it was like 60 feet tall. It was like super urine.
I thought it was going to be a dead tree.
Oh.
It's going to be a dead tree eventually.
But I mean,
do you get funny looks from people when your kids are peeing on a tree in a park? Like, I have one park that we go to and there are no bathrooms there.
What are you talking about? He hangs out with grannies. Most of them are on the same tree.
I was asking any one of you. But.
They lift their legs.
Oh, I forgot to. Are we allowed to say the P word?
I think so. Pee on a tree.
Oh, I don't know.
Pee all over a tree. Pee off the side of the porch.
So
the show's gonna be like beep 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 beep.
What do you do with the number twos, Kevin? I mean, obviously trees
go behind the tree.
Oh, God.
You smear it on a rock so that it disintegrates easier. I know what it's like in the California sun.
It's raisins everywhere.
It's like little rabbits. Oh, do we have rabbits? No, just children under the age of 3. Watch out for those dogs' eggs. Okay.
Jeez, I wish they were like rabbit. That would be easy.
There'd be so many of them. No, it's not easy because my daughter's tossed off a couple nuggets and they start going everywhere.
The nuggets going everywhere.
In the nudie stage?
What's that?
Is your daughter in the nudie stage? She wants to be a stripper?
Not yet. But she when the diaper comes off, she rolls over and wants to leave.
My daughter, you can't. You put her in a onesie and it frustrates her because she can't take it off. And I had her out on the patio the other day, and I thought, look, let the wind go there. Just look, it's tile floor. We can clean it later. But
you got to strap that kid down.
No, what she does is she's smart because I've cinched down on it pretty hard, and she just rolls over and army crawls out.
I have to pin my son down to get to change his diapers half the time. He throws a tantrum. He doesn't want the diaper off.
It's so miserable.
What do you mean he doesn't want it off, even after it's been multiple?
Oh yeah,
years?
he feels. Oh yeah, and he doesn't want to be changed. It's
I'm warm. Leave me alone.
Nasty.
It's like, look, there's still 3 more goes in this nappy. Back off.
12 hours. I'm only at 10. Leave me alone.
Oh God.
Oh well, hang on a second, fellas. I've got some more audio.
We interrupt this program to bring you our first ever pledge drive. We hope that you're enjoying tonight's SAHDPod Live program. It is because of listeners like you that we are able to go live, and so we need you to reach deep into your pockets and support us. It's as simple as heading over to our Facebook page and giving us a like, follow us on Twitter, or subscribe to us on iTunes. If you support us in one of these 3 platforms, we will move you up to our basic membership level. If you support us through 2 of these platforms, we will up the ante and give you our platinum status. However, if you support us through all of the 3 platforms, we will make you an officially unrecognized sustaining member. Now, these are pretty remarkable gifts, the kind of things that you show off to your friends while you're out for an adult beverage, or you place above the mantle over your fireplace. Of course, there's no physical gift that we can send you, but golly gosh, you will really make our day. So head over after the show and follow us at SAHDPod.com because you make us happen. Now, back to our show.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Torrelio. You're right. We need people to join us. Do we have anybody listening? We have 6 listeners. That's pretty pathetic. And I think it's
three.
just us.
That means
we're three of them.
so there's only 3 other people.
Yeah,
So
but this gets recorded.
You can always count on Ross Bell to be a trooper, right? Is he stacking shells and listening?
He just turns it on and keeps it on for us. I'm going to throw him a bone.
Well, if he donates and we ask for $1, he might send us a £1 note, which is a little bit more. I mean,
conversion to us.
Score. Okay. now that we're back after our pledge drive, again, Dave mentioned a little bit earlier. We went to downtown Jacksonville the other day, and downtown Jacksonville, for people who haven't been there, has anybody seen Mad Max? Okay,
of course.
Yes.
That's Jacksonville.
The new one or the old one?
I haven't seen the new one.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Go
What?
ahead.
Oh,
I wasn't ready.
fighting words.
Uh-oh.
When
New show topic.
Okay, but no, we went down to a place called Dos Gatos that I understand stands for 2 cats. Is that right, Dave?
Yes, that's correct.
Why would you? Firstly, on a different subject, why would you name a bar Dos Gatos?
It's down the street from Burroughs.
But Burroughs a donkey, right?
There you go. 2 cats and 1 donkey. Not really like any specific reason why, but
well, it actually doesn't have a name on it. You could miss it, but there were people lined up outside. It was very, very popular. I think they were there to see us, and we went in, and they made some awesome fruity cocktails, and we got together, and we found that actually the intimate gathering of 6 was really, really good, actually, because when you get a larger number of people, you don't often get a chance to socialize, even though I didn't go to the first one. What do you guys do to socialize, let's say to go out and have a beer, things like that? I'm going to start with you, Kevin, because you're a bit of a beer snob, aren't you?
I am a beer snob. Yeah, and that's actually exactly what I do when I get a night off, so to speak. My friends and I will go hit one of the local microbreweries or one of the brew pubs and drink some beer, drink some, not cheap beer.
Now, what do you tend to talk about? Because I noticed when SAHDs got together, it generally turned to the devastating effects of our children, fetal positions, crying, why we were doing it, and that was the general trend. Can you think of some of the other conversations we had, Dave? But they were all pretty desperate, right?
I think the biggest conversation we had was about making bank and how important making bank was. No,
like a piggy bank?
Making bank. It's anyhow, making bank. It's all the rage. That's what the kids are saying these days. No, we talked pretty much about the struggles of being a stay-at-home dad, whether it be your kid driving you to the edge, or that awkward moment that gets caught on live TV where you say you want to drive into a pit to end it all.
No, I didn't say to end it all.
I didn't think you just drive into something so it ends it all.
I said I wanted to drive into a wall so that the noise would stop and the silver pillow would come out of the center of the console and I could go to sleep.
While it's being recorded.
Oh, come on, seriously. This is the worst thing about going out and organizing dates when you're a stay-at-home dad. You put the child in the car seat, and my daughter hates it, absolutely hates it. And I have about...
So she doesn't like being in the bars with you?
Dude. I don't know where to go.
That's just what it sounded like. That's fine. Continue going on.
But driving with a child in the car, there gets to a point where that decibel level, after about 10 minutes, she starts to scream. And, the CD that you've had on a loop for the last 3 months and the noise in the back, and you just feel like you want to drive into a wall just so that it will end.
That's where I find my ultimate emotional low, if she cries and it doesn't stop, and you know that you're still too far away from wherever you're trying to go. That's like the ultimate low, because it's not stopping anytime soon.
I hear you talking about always leaving the same CD on all the time. I just don't know why you do that and why you make yourself listen to that horrible kids music.
It's Disney Beatles.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you got to change it up. You
Listen to real
Guns N'
music
Roses too, and
change it up.
You got to start listening to NPR, because that puts my daughter to sleep. Diane Rehm gets on there And she.
Oh, you guys! I turned on our show one day, and both my kids were out.
Really?
My son.
I put on our show. My daughter cried even worse. It was like,
Really?
oh my god, can you get those buggers off?
We listen to Car Talk a lot on Sundays, and when they start laughing, my son's in the backseat going, trying to copy him.
So, Kevin, what do you talk about when you go out with your mates to the pub? Do you actually do you talk about kids, or do you have a life?
We do talk about our kids. We'll complain about our kids and how they're ruining our lives and driving us slowly insane. But a lot of times, what we end up talking about is just the same. My drinking friends, that group, is the same group that I play Dungeons and Dragons with. So yes,
that damn dragon killed me the last game.
We talk about nerdy stuff. Lately, the
I
conversation
thought you hung out with grannies who play Dungeons and Dragons.
No, that was your own invention. Yeah.
I rolled.
So what kind of
20,
beers do you get? Because I got to ask. I mean, if you're a beer snob, what kind of beers are you going for? What places? Because I'm really jealous. I'm going to derail this conversation.
We've got a good 25 or 30 what you used to call microbreweries around town.
Oh yes.
What do you call them
So-
now?
Now they're craft breweries.
Now they're craft breweries.
Yes, craft.
So lately, I've been on a stout kick. I've been drinking a lot of stouts.
You got
Oh,
very
nice.
stout.
Imperial stouts, milk stouts,
One
all
thing
of the
stouts
above.
and nitro.
I have
Nitro
a
stouts, chocolate milk stouts. My favorite is barrel aged, like bourbon barrel aged stouts.
Oh yeah. That's good stuff.
I had to listen to this crap on the weekend as well. It was almost as bad as listening to my daughter cry in the back of the car. If I'd been in a car, I would have driven into a wall. You should have heard them. Oh, you should listen to this beer. And I'm thinking, dude, you need to get out more. Not even talking about girls. Could they at least talk about women? Okay, so Trevor, when you go out with your City Dads group that aren't all stay-at-home dads, disclaimer, what do you typically do? I mean, do you just go hunting for chicks?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in LA, it's hard to go. No. For me, it's a little bit different. As you said, I do like the kind of the more intimate groups where they have like 6 people, and it varies. I mean, one of the great things about dads, if you're a stay-at-home dad, or it applies to more, but this applies to all dads. Like if you're at the park and you're hanging out and you're having a conversation with a couple other dads, and you go, oh, my son's doing something I have to go take care of. You walk out of the conversation. You can come walking back in 5 minutes, and you just jump right back into the conversation, whatever the conversation is. And so you just have these mini conversations going on all the time. And I dig that. And then, like we go out and I try to pick a different bar and have like a dad's night out at a bar and have it, the little dive hole in the walls. And then if you have 6 people, you can just kind of do a red robin. So if you're talking with like 2 other guys, and then, after an hour or so, it's like you just kind of do a fire drill and everybody rearranges and they're like, wait, what are you all about? And you learn about something new from somebody else. So that's what I enjoy the most about these dad drinking night outs. What
is the ideal number? If you want to go out with other dads, what's the ideal number?
If it's just to find a hole in the wall and to go out and have a couple of drinks and hang out, for me it's probably 6 to 8.
Dave,
I mean, if you get too many more of that, it gets crazy.
I guess because I feel like the dad's night out, I'm still trying to solicit and trying to get the group to grow. So for me, if it's more than 10 people, like I feel like I'm going all over the group trying to make sure that everybody's having a good time, that they're going to want to come back out for the next event, that they're going to, say, oh, maybe I should be a little more active. Maybe I might put up an event. So like the event that we had on Saturday was awesome to me because it was a smaller group and I could focus on a conversation where I wasn't trying to solicit the group.
It was pretty much just constant sarcasm as well.
Yeah. But
it was pretty laid back, no serious talk other than, even when we were talking about our kids, none of that was particularly serious. I mean, obviously I talked about, driving the car into a wall, and just for the sake of anybody from social services who's listening, I don't really mean that. I drive a Prius and I can't really afford the deductible. So But no, I honestly think, when I was a kid and I used to go out, generally the group of people I would go out with was about 6, and I found that to be quite ideal.
Yeah, you want to be able to like have a conversation with your friends, and not have to feel like you have to make that fire drill group. You can just sort of float back and forth between 2 or 3 of your friends and know where they stand, and just be able to pop in the conversation or stand back and just let it go.
Actually, we have a little bit of audio here, fellas. I'm going to bring it in.
We're in the middle of the top of the 5th inning here at the Suns game with the stay-at-home dads group. This is some audio just from the crowd. You gonna eat some of this? You having some of that, Jaden? You like popcorn?
He's like, I love popcorn. It's the best thing ever.
You want to play with one of those? No, you don't want to play with any of those? You know you have ketchup on your face? Do you have ketchup on your face?
You saving it for later?
You saving your ketchup for later? I think Ella has some ketchup on her face too. Uh-oh, she's trying to eat her. I should probably pull them out of the bag before I give her the bag.
It tastes better through the bag.
There's filtering.
All right, Dave, that was the middle of the Suns game. I think it was the bottom of the 5th or something around there. One thing I am curious, I saw from a lot of the photos, a lot of those kids were quite young. Did you find it trouble just to have a conversation with the guys, or did you just all zone out and watch the game? And were you drinking?
No. I wish we were drinking. That would have made the game a little more exciting. No, the game was exciting. The drinking would have made the day a little bit more exciting. However, the kids were, I thought they were extremely well behaved. My daughter was well behaved. The other dads, their children were well behaved. And there was a little bit of a moment where one of the dads went off to go get some food, because the deal of the day at the park was 2 tickets for $20 gets you 2 hot dogs, 2 soft drinks, and small popcorn. So he ran off instead of taking his 2 kids with him, and I'm watching his 2 kids. And so initially it was very distracting to try to maybe talk to anybody else. It was more or less like, which kid's going to try to kill themselves first? So once I could get them into a pen, more or less, which was between me and another dad, there were 2 seats that were empty. We got them all corralled there. We could sort of have a conversation, and it was a conversation that, it was mindless conversation. I don't necessarily remember anything specifically that we spoke about, other than, hey, my son did this today, or I was telling them about how my daughter yesterday, she was in the pack and play. I had my back turned, and I turn around. This is the first time for her. She had her hands up in the air, and she was just standing there. So it was there was a moment there where things started to calm down, and I feel that those moments where you can actually talk to each other, even when the kids start running around, it's nice. I mean, it happens when you have to, walk out of a conversation. But if you guys can talk and it all works out, it's great.
I mean, one of the things I found when we had a little bit of a play date, and we brought everybody to my resort to go to the lazy river.
Never happened.
And
Never happened.
Well, I actually organized sandwiches and everything, but my daughter is at that stage where she's incredibly active, and it's basically like juggling a hot potato, and I couldn't relax. I just couldn't relax at all. And I mean, as much as I wanted to talk to people, you can't get but halfway through a sentence before you're making sure that something doesn't go horribly wrong. And I've often wondered, what do you think the optimum age is to get together with kids? I mean, what is the optimum age, or is it just an optimum environment? Trevor?
I think it's the age of the kids, and when they can start interacting with each other, it's going to change your world. So I have a 4 and a 5-year-old now, and I go to the park and I meet other kids, and some of the kids are a little bit older, 7 or 8 maybe, but they're all generally about that same age. You need to find that little group, because then that play date's great, because then you can have longer talk times with the dads while the kids entertain themselves.
Yeah. I think there's definitely there's a break. There's a break in the period between when they're less than a year old, less than walking, whenever they can't walk, and you can control them, corral them, you can still sort of have conversations. And then there's that period where they're learning to be independent, where I think you're just sort of trapped about chasing them and, making sure they don't find whatever electric socket or whatever step is steep enough or whatever rock is sharp enough to go impale themselves on. And then once they realize that, death does exist, then you can get back to what Trevor was saying and being able to have a conversation and know that your child won't kill himself, but they might break their arm.
I mean, I actually think that stay-at-home daddom, if you can get to the age of, let's say, with Kevin's kids, that is probably the absolute ideal. I think I could do stay-at-home daddom as long as they can, go to the toilet, they don't throw food on the floor, and they're somewhat mobile. I think that life becomes a dream after that. I mean, Kevin, how much do you enjoy just you and your son heading out for the day?
I love it. It's the best thing ever.
Do you necessarily need to find other kids for him to play with, or are you like Trevor and you just want to sit back and play on your iPhone at the park?
No, I really feel like it's important to find other kids for him to play with. It teaches him to share, and it teaches him to be kind, and he seems to really like it. I mean, when we go somewhere, if there's not one of his friends there, but there's a kid his age, he runs over and wants to play with that kid. So it makes me happy.
Now, have you ever had any incident? Anybody here? I mean, obviously not Dave and not me, but the fighting. I got a call from daycare the other day where my daughter had bit a child, but in fairness, the little girl did stick her fingers in my daughter's mouth, which is a huge no-no. Do you ever have to deal with those sorts of incidents? I mean,
it's the other kid's fault.
Do you just pull out the iPhone and film it and post it on YouTube? Have you ever had any situations where there's been antagonistic with kids, or is there like an ideal age where any kid will play with any kid? Do you go to the park and set your kids and ever have to deal with controversy?
I don't think I've ever really had to deal with any controversy in public like that. Like, not that I can think of.
Do you never have to tell a parent that
I have.
Name names.
No, I won't particularly go to the kids. I will explain it to my son, what's going on, and try to make him understand so he can change the circumstances of what he can do.
Change the circumstances? What, do you pass him a shiv?
No, but no. Well, whatever.
Give him the shank.
I do live in L.A. No, if he could remove himself from the situation, basically. So there's confrontations like that, and I've been approached by some other people before. One of my things is I don't want to be a helicopter parent, and especially like at a park. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and allow my kids to be terrors on other kids, or be rude to other people in any way, but I'm not going to be right over them either trying to solve all of their dilemmas. If they pick up somebody else's toy, I will explain to them that that's not theirs. So if the kid comes back and they ask for it, you have to give it back to them right away, or you have to find the kid and ask to play with it. But
Did you establish that early on? Because I look at like my daughter, she can't talk and she can't say anything to anybody. So she'll start to grab at something and I'll say to her, Ella, maybe they're not ready to give that up. And I think I sort of picked some of that stuff up from one of the podcasts that I think we picked up on one of the shows. But did you start doing that early where you said, hey, they're not ready to play with you. They're not ready to give that up. That's not yours. What did you do to get your children to that position where, hey, if you're in a difficult situation, it's better to, walk away or figure out some other way to have fun?
Well, I think having two or more is going to accelerate that process.
Well, you already have death matches at home, don't you?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I have some older videos that I was going through, and it's funny to see my oldest just take advantage of my youngest. And I mean, he's jumping off this slide of their bunk bed. I mean, like right on him, like it's WWE or something, or WWF, and it's just it's crazy. So that got accelerated as far as whose is what, right? And who gets to play with what when. And so that's having two kids, that'll solve your problem right there.
All right,
I think I agree with that.
I just want to jump here in and say that it is the WWE, and the World Wildlife Fund does own WWF, just in case we get sued later on.
Perfect.
No, because back in the 80s, there was the WWF until the WWF said, hey, you can't use the WWF anymore.
I know, but we're not in the 80s, mate. We're in the 2000s.
I don't care. I grew up with Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan and, Randy Johnson. And those were anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So Rey Mysterio was at our local flea market last weekend, signing autographs.
Was really?
Yes, he was.
How the
he
mighty
was.
have
Is he old? Is he old?
He was old, but he had like 12 other luchadors with him.
Did he have?
The whole
Did he
thing.
have an assistant like moving his hand to do the signatures?
Did you ask him how to deal with children at the playground? Whether or not you want to put him in a headlock, take him down.
Actually, I didn't go. I just read that was like one of the things going on last weekend.
Okay. You're telling us stuff you read in the paper. I could be searching Google. Hang on a
I
second.
heard
I'm
Hulk
just gonna
Hogan was
Google
at the
search
Charlotte
something.
Airport.
Now, hang on a second, Dave. Did you tell us that you learned something from one of our podcasts?
Yeah,
He did. I heard it.
I did. It was called the podcast about podcasts, and we had, I believe that I can't remember the name of that. It was a podcast show, something respectful parenting, and I think Kevin might have been the person who brought it up. And
Well,
this is
obviously,
like-
I wasn't on the
I
show.
think that
You're
was
not going to
Alan.
learn anything.
Alan brought it up. Yeah, it was about how you can explain to your children more or less situations, where they're not in the right, or that somebody else is, just being cranky or ornery, and you have to help your child understand that people have different personalities and we're all different, and you can see that and try to mitigate, any problems in that situation where you say, hey, they're not happy to play with you right now, so why don't you walk away right now and maybe later. And then you tell that child, hey, my child just wanted to play with you, but they can't communicate to you very well. And so I picked that up from that podcast about podcasts.
If you see a person though in the park, and I've seen it a few times, there'll be a small child, let's say under the age of 8 months, and they'll be talking to them like they're an adult. And I mean, there comes a point where it's just there's not really a whole hell of a lot you can do. Really, you just got to distract and remove from the situation. God, are we getting educational? We're not here to be educational.
Oh, you guys aren't drinking enough.
Actually, we're running down to the last 2 minutes, so let's.
Well,
I thought we had 3 hours.
Let's not get educational.
Let's go back to beers.
Dude, I'm going to just Google search. Hang on a second. What do you need to know? Well, that's the other thing. Who needs actually advice from other parents? I mean, people will say to me, oh, you've got to do this or you've got to do that. And I say, dude, I got a smartphone and Google. I don't need you.
I think it's definitely whatever works best for you. And, the people, they all have their opinions, but, whatever makes your family operate versus whatever makes my family operate may not be the same thing. And that's okay.
As long as people aren't trying to stuff it down my throat and make me accept their way, I'm all ears. I would love to hear how you do it. To see if I could make mine better, do it the way I'm doing it better. But don't do unsolicited.
That's quite interesting. That was it. Don't stuff it down my throat. I'm all ears. Hang on a second. And on that note, look, I'm sorry, fellas. We've come to the end of an hour. It's an hour. You only get an hour.
You got to drink, guys. That's a drink right there.
Yeah, that's a drink. Everybody drink.
I've got water. I'll drink water.
Didn't you pay for us to be able to go longer?
Are we still talking about stuffing it down your throat?
No.
My daughter wakes up.
Too many beers.
Okay, look, thanks for joining me tonight, fellas. We had quite a good conversation. I don't think anybody learned anything. I certainly don't think this is one of our learning podcasts, other than learning how to use the technology. Thanks to my guests here, Mr. Kevin Clem, Trevor Mulligan, and David Torrelio. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. It's been fun.
Thank you.
Good night.
And please, gone yet? Please follow us on Twitter at SAHDPod. like our Facebook page, and subscribe to us via iTunes. And don't forget to give us a gushing review. Special thanks to Micah and Me for the use of the very excellent Super Daddy Fun Day. And everybody have a Super Daddy Fun Day.
It's just another ordinary typical day. Me and my daddy gonna go out and play. I hope my baby sister doesn't get in the way. I'm ready for another Super Daddy Fun Day.
And that about wraps it up. We walked out at the top of the 8th inning. The Jacksonville Suns, trailing until the 4th inning, scored 8 runs to put the score at 8-6. They're still leading. I'll have to look at the score later on tonight to see how the game goes. But it was a great outing for the Northeast Florida Stay-at-Home Dads group. There were 5 dads and a load of kids. That's live reporting for SAHDPod. Have a great day.